Thank you again for showing up here today for yourself, for Spirit, for one another, for the world we all want. Just a reminder that next weekend is daylight savings. Get an extra hour as we fall back. And I really do hope to be alive for a time when we stop doing that. It leads to increased heart attacks and all kinds of things. It turns out that little tweak just really messes with our system. We'll put that on the list of things we hope to be alive for the change. I invite you, as you're moved, to just take some deeper breaths, giving yourself the gift of this time, letting go of whatever awaits you beyond our time together. And I offer this prayer from Psalm 19. God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, our rock and our redeemer. Amen. I have heard it, or something like it, now so many times that my sense is that many people feel this way. It has been said in different ways, and even from different political perspectives, and it goes something like this. What's going on in the world of wars and walkouts, boycotts and book bans, immigration from drug cartels and dictators, from climate change supported by the fossil fuel industry to changes in our healthcare and hospice care driven by equity funds, what's going on isn't a matter of left or right, some ideas versus others. Rather, this moment is actually a battle between good and evil. Have you heard this? I heard it even on public radio, not just a fringe channel. And depending on how far down this rabbit warren of wondering you go, the situation is explained cosmically. And the answer is to engage in what the groups many call spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare is a concept among neo-charismatic Christian churches, and it's about fighting against the work of evil forces, battling against evil spirits that are here on this realm of existence. Spiritual warfare, and I was reading all about this, digging deeper, is beating the demons and fallen angels that intervene in our lives in all kinds of ways here and now. And the people citing these claims give scriptural authority from texts like that found in Ephesians, where we read, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against authorities, against cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places." That's one of the texts used. I've pondered this a lot. And it seems a tad convenient to blame things on demons, doesn't it? A handy spiritual scapegoat that's really impossible to confirm. I mean, when something goes wrong, how can you really say if it's a demon or not? It seems like an easy way to disconnect from accountability. And also, there really do seem to be people that are so wounded, so afraid, so diminished, so distorted that for one reason or another, they do seem to be acting in evil ways. Doesn't it seem like that? Causing harm, casting a shadow. As it is said, wounded people wound. And maybe when too many wounded people, perhaps when too many unhealed humans get together or get too much power, maybe it does start to feel like a battle of some kind. A battle about where we want to go collectively as human beings bound together on this perfect planet. It does kind of feel like a battle about whose stories get to be heard, whose stories get to be honored, whose wars, which side, which group gets to be seen as moral, who's been wounded the most, who gets to be healed first, who gets to be heard. I confess, for me personally, I have felt a lot of despair lately about what I see in Gaza, the fact that these hostages still aren't home, and that the Hellfire missiles are made by Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman, and supported with our tax dollars. I feel despair about the fact that we are still arguing over whether women can be saved from pregnancies that are threatening. I feel despair that the Earth's temperatures climb as we prepare for another meeting about promises that won't be kept. And the U.S. isn't even going to the Conference on Parties this time. Maybe that's more honest than going and making promises we won't keep. But who gets to be heard? This story from the Gospel of Mark, where we have a man that isn't being heard, standing on the sidelines seeking healing and in need of hope, and the people around him are telling him to be quiet. And he waits by the side of the road and asks for help, with even Jesus' closest friends telling him to be quiet, not responding to his wound. But Bartimaeus doesn't give up. That's what I noticed when reading it this time, right now, with all that's going on in the world. Bartimaeus speaks louder. And he speaks louder until he is heard. Until God, Jesus, says to him, "What do you want me to do for you?" As one scholar wrote, Bartimaeus refuses to be defined by his circumstances or by the expectations of those who are able to see, those who are close to Jesus. He ensures that his call will be heard. The persistence of Bartimaeus sets in motion a wave of mercy that comes with change. He knows what he wants. He knows what is needed, and he is persistent. A way is made, a change comes because he refuses to stay silent. He demands the barriers to love be removed. What if healing in the wounded parts of ourselves and the world comes when we are clear and honest about what the situation is, about what is needed? And sometimes that first step can be difficult, as we talked about, knowing what you want. But what if that is part of healing? Can you be bold in asking yourself and the universe what it is you really want? Are you able to share this with those who love you? And what if healing in our world will come when enough people, when enough of us aren't afraid to be loud, to keep getting louder on the sideline, even when the world says, be quiet? We will be like Bartimaeus, yelling from the side, and our view will be widened, and more will be awakened, and wounds will be healed. I know it. Maybe you remember that the Greek word for faith is pistis, meaning trust. So when Jesus said to him, "Your faith has made you well," I think maybe that he meant his trust in the truth, his own voice, in his belovedness, in his own power, in his persistence in demanding that he should be made whole. That's what made him well. His refusal to give up. And that can be true for us too. So perhaps in this battle about where we want to go collectively, as human beings bound together and dependent upon life on this perfect planet, in this struggle about whose stories get to be heard, which group gets to be seen as moral, which wounds are healed, I wonder if whatever name we have for God, it is an energy finding all the openings within us, in our hearts, even the hearts that seem hardened. I want to encourage you, in whatever setting you find yourself, be persistent in trusting your truth and speaking out. Refuse to be silent. Say what is wanted and what is needed. Let us speak until we are heard, until we are healed, until the whole world is made well. And now you'll have a few moments to hear from each other. Whatever has been stirred up for you, do you see a connection between being heard and being healed? and whatever else you want to share. And we'll just take a few minutes to reflect as you're moved. I love knowing now you are fully awake. Beloved of God, what do you want love to do for you and for the world? What barriers can you remove? Let us be persistent in trusting our truths, saying them however we can, shouting them from the side when we need to. Let us refuse to be silenced. Let us speak until we are heard, until we are healed, until all is made well. May it be so. Amen.
Amen.
Greetings to you wherever you are watching this. For those of you whom I have yet to meet in person, I'm Reverend Nicola Marsh, pastor here at Community UCC. And we see that people like you are watching our live stream each week. And because of this, we are excited to be embarking upon an experiment. And we need you. If you are engaging with us regularly, finding meaning in what we are about, we would like to extend a special invitation for you to be among the first CUCC digital disciples. For signing up for just $10 a month, you will receive a t-shirt with the new CUCC logo. And we are also exploring the idea of offering other content to those of you who are part of this new and growing area of digital ministry. Sign up to support us in this new way at cuccboulder.org/support by clicking on the yellow donate tab and noting you are a digital disciple in the instructions. Or as always, we welcome an old-fashioned check mailed to us at CUCC, P.O. Box 3646, Boulder, Colorado 80307. Thank you for being and building beloved community with us, and thank you for your gift, whatever it might be.